It was supposed to be a quiet return, a gentle homecoming for Jack and Jennifer Devereaux as they stepped back into Salem, a town still heavy with grief after John Black's death. But fate had other plans. In an instant, everything shifted, and Jennifer found herself face to face with a betrayal she couldn't bear to see. As she watched Chad DiMera share a tender moment with Kat Green, something inside Jennifer snapped. It was the culmination of heartbreak and anger. The memory of her daughter Abigail burned so brightly in her mind that she couldn't stand the sight of anyone trying to replace her. In that single moment, Jennifer's world turned upside down. But how did it come to this? How did Jennifer, a woman who has weathered heartbreak and betrayal time and again, find herself consumed by a fury that refuses to be tamed? It all begins with a wound that never truly healed. A wound reopened by the one woman Jennifer could never forgive. Kat Green wasn't just a stranger in their lives. She was the imposter who dared to wear Abigail's face, to speak in her voice, and to steal a piece of her soul. Jennifer remembers every detail of that deception. The moments when hope surged in her chest, only to be dashed against the rocks of cruel reality. Kat's betrayal cut deeper than any blade because it preyed on the one thing Jennifer could never let go of, her daughter's memory. And though the truth eventually came to light, the echoes of that lie still ring in Jennifer's ears. So now, as she stands in the shadows and watches Chad and Kat share a moment of quiet intimacy, a moment that should have been hers to witness with Abigail, it feels like a fresh betrayal. Jennifer sees not forgiveness, not healing, but an affront to everything she has fought so hard to protect. Every gentle glance, every soft word exchanged between Chad and Kat, is like a slap across the face of the love she still holds for her lost daughter. For Jennifer, there is no redemption in this story, no understanding that can erase the pain of watching her son-in-law find solace in the arms of the woman who once tried to steal her daughter's place. To her, this is a betrayal that cannot be forgiven, an act that tears open the scars she has worked so hard to hide. But for Chad, the truth is tangled in shades of gray. He knows Kat's past, knows the desperation that drove her to become someone she wasn't. He's seen the shadows in her eyes, heard the trembling in her voice as she confessed the horrors of Clyde Weston's grip, the impossible choices that were never hers to make. In Kat, Chad sees a woman who was broken by the world around her, yet still finds the strength to stand. He sees her struggle not to be defined by her past, her quiet determination to carve out something real and honest in a town that only remembers the worst of her sins. For Chad, this isn't about replacing Abigail. No one could ever fill that void in his heart. But he also knows that life doesn't stop for grief, that sometimes healing looks like finding connection in the most unexpected places. In Kat's presence, he sees a chance to mend the parts of himself that have never stopped bleeding. Her laughter, soft and unsure, cuts through the constant ache in his chest. Her touch is a balm he didn't know he still needed. Yet Chad knows the weight of what he's asking: forgiveness for a woman who once wore Abigail's face, compassion for a soul who doesn't deserve it in the eyes of those who loved Abby most. He knows Jennifer's anger will never understand the quiet tenderness he shares with Kat, nor the way it helps him keep moving forward when everything else feels frozen in the past. Jack Devereaux finds himself standing in the center of this emotional maelstrom, caught between the fury of the woman he loves and the haunted grief of a town still trying to find its balance. He sees Jennifer's eyes, bright with unshed tears and old anger, sees the way her hands clench at her sides as if she's holding herself together by sheer force of will. Jack knows her rage isn't just about Chad and Kat. It's about the ache that never leaves her, the relentless ache of a mother who has outlived her child and sees the world moving on without her. Jack's instinct is to shield her, to take her pain into his own heart if only to give her a moment of peace. He wraps his arms around her, murmurs soft words into her hair, hoping that somehow, in the quiet comfort of their shared memories, she'll find the strength to let the past rest. But even as he holds her, Jack wonders if love alone can be enough to bridge the chasm that grief has carved between them. He knows that sometimes the weight of memory is too heavy for even the strongest shoulders, and that forgiveness, especially for the wounds that cut deepest, can feel like an impossible ask. Still, he stays. He listens as Jennifer's voice cracks with the weight of her anguish, as she rails against the unfairness of a world that lets Chad find solace in the arms of the woman who once shattered their hearts. He doesn't have the answers. He doesn't have the power to erase what's been done. But he has his love, steadfast and unwavering. And in the quiet after her tears, Jack promises himself, and Jennifer, that he will be there, no matter how long it takes, to help her find her way back to a place where her heart can heal. Amidst the whirl of new heartbreak and cautious hope, Salem is still cloaked in the shadow of John Black's death. His absence feels like a raw wound in the heart of the town, a silence that echoes in every hallway and every whispered conversation. Marlena Evans, once the pillar of unwavering strength, is adrift in a sea of memories. The woman who had always known how to hold her family together now finds herself clutching at the fragile threads of her own grief. Her eyes, once so full of warmth and certainty, are clouded with a sadness that won't let go. Each room she walks through carries the faint scent of John. His laughter still seems to hang in the air, his comforting presence just out of reach. Around her, Belle, Brady, and Eric stand as a bulwark against the pain. They offer her gentle words, soft touches, and steadfast loyalty. But each of them, too, is struggling under the weight of a loss that has left them all feeling hollow. Brady's usually calm demeanor is edged with a restlessness he can't quite name. Belle's bright spirit flickers under the burden of trying to be everything to everyone. Eric's quiet strength masks a grief he can't put into words. And yet, even as the Black family tries to steady themselves, there's a glimmer of hope that flickers on the edge of the darkness. Bo Brady's miraculous return is a shockwave through Salem, a story of life snatched back from the jaws of death. His waking breath is a whispered promise that maybe not every ending has to be final. For those who love him, Bo's recovery is a miracle that feels almost too good to be true. Hope, tears glistening in her eyes, clutches his hand like a lifeline. Sean and Sierra, overwhelmed by the wonder of having their father back, find themselves believing once more in the impossible. But for Jennifer, that miracle only makes the emptiness inside her more profound. She watches as another family gets the gift she will never have, watches as Bo is pulled from the brink while her daughter's memory remains trapped in a past she can't escape. In the quiet of her thoughts, Jennifer wonders how the world can be so unbearably cruel, to restore one life even as it leaves another forever lost. As Salem struggles to find its balance, Chad and Kat choose to reach for a fleeting moment of peace. June 5th marks the night they finally decide to share something tender, something fragile, a date that feels like a chance to step out of the shadows and into the warm light of possibility. For Chad, this isn't just an evening of laughter and shared glances. It's a moment to breathe again, to believe that there can still be beauty after all the heartbreak. In Kat, he sees a kindred spirit, someone who knows what it means to be haunted by mistakes, to carry scars that refuse to fade. Her soft laughter, hesitant and sweet, is a melody he's longed to hear. For Kat, this night is a chance to lay down the burdens she's carried for too long. To let herself be seen not as the imposter or the survivor, but as the woman she hopes she can become. Every smile she shares with Chad is a promise, one she's terrified to make but even more terrified to lose. But hovering on the edges of this fragile bubble is the storm of Jennifer's fury. She sees only betrayal in Kat's laughter, only a wound reopened in Chad's soft glances. Every word spoken between them is like a blade twisting in the memory of the daughter she loved beyond reason. Jennifer's anger is a living thing, coiled and ready to strike. For Chad and Kat, each heartbeat of this night is filled with the knowledge that they're dancing on a knife's edge. One wrong word, one glimpse of Jennifer's anguish, and the world they're trying to build could shatter in an instant. Will they find the courage to claim this chance at something real? Or will the ghosts of the past, and the weight of Jennifer's heartbreak, tear them apart before they can even begin? In the midst of this storm, Paul Narita and Andrew Donovan stand as a quiet beacon of what love can be. Where others see only heartbreak, they choose to honor John's memory not with endless mourning, but with the promise of a future built together. Their decision to move forward with their wedding is more than a romantic vow. It's an act of defiance against the darkness that has gripped Salem. In their gentle touches and whispered words, there is a determination that speaks louder than grief. Love can endure, even in the face of loss. As Paul takes Andrew's hand in his own, there's a quiet power in his voice. Each promise he speaks is etched with the knowledge that tomorrow is never guaranteed, that every moment is a chance to say, "I love you," a little louder. Andrew, his own voice steady but full of emotion, looks at Paul as if he's seeing his future in his eyes. Their joy is a soft thread of light woven through the heavy fabric of the town's sorrow. It's a promise to themselves, and to Salem, that love doesn't vanish when someone dies. It grows in the spaces they leave behind, lighting the path forward when everything else feels shrouded in shadow. For the town of Salem, Paul and Andrew's wedding is a reminder that even when hearts break, they can also mend. That even when tears fall, there can still be laughter. That even when one love ends, another can begin, burning bright against the darkness, refusing to be extinguished. June 4th in Salem isn't just another day. It's a turning point, a reckoning. It's the day Jennifer's heartbreak boils over, the day Chad and Kat's hopes are tested, the day Jack learns that sometimes love isn't enough to keep the past from rising again. And yet, it's also a day of quiet triumphs, of Paul and Andrew's unwavering commitment, of Beau's miraculous second chance, of the quiet promise that even in the face of grief, the human heart can still find the courage to keep beating. As you watch this powerful episode, let yourself be swept away by the passion, the heartbreak, and the whispered hopes of a town that refuses to be broken. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what moment will leave the deepest mark on your heart? Because in Salem, every tear tells a story, and no story is ever truly over. Stay tuned, because in days of our lives, even the quietest day can change everything.